Okay, people. Casual bias. First game of the Autumn Nations. You guys know how we used to do it. When it comes to international rugby, we got fans from all over the world. Just going to talk about the game. England versus New Zealand. Jake, Rose, Aiden, welcome to all of you guys. Jake, we're coming straight to you. In your new stadium, first game, Alien Stadium, taking on the All Blacks. Obviously, coming off 2 losses against them. You feeling it goes a bit different this weekend?
I was saying that before I saw the lineup, and then I saw the lineup and thought that is shy. So now I'm not so confident in the lineup and in the game. So, but we should have beaten them in July, and if we play as best we can, yeah, we should beat them in Alien Stadium. What do you think, Rose?
I don't get the hate with the lineup. There's maybe like 2 off calls. What issues do you have with it apart from the front row? That's it.
The bench. The bench.
Pardon?
I have a problem with the bench. If Ollie Lawrence gets injured or a wing, we are fucked.
Slade can always move to 12.
But Slade's played 50 minutes.
Slade's played 50 minutes and he's not a 12. Freeman's not a 12. And there's no wing cover, really. Like, if Ollie Lawrence gets injured, we're in big trouble.
Aiden,
yeah, we are. But we've taken the risk.
Yeah. Sorry, Rose, continue.
I was just going to say we've taken the risk and gone 6-2 rather than 5-3 on the bench, which we don't usually do. And there is a purpose behind that. We obviously need to try and match the All Blacks' physicality. So it's high risk, high reward.
But the one thing that the All Blacks are known for is having lots of backs who love to run the ball. You want a back cover, and I don't understand it, really.
Yeah, listen, Aiden, right? You saw the team lineup. Obviously, the New Zealand team hasn't come out yet. First and foremost, welcome onto the channel for you and Jake especially. It's your first time on here, right?
Thank you.
Boys, what did you think when you saw that lineup? Because I was just laughing at it. I did not think it's strong enough at all.
I mean, the people that I was expecting to be in there as sort of like the stalwart players for England weren't in there. Like, by far and away, their best prop is Finn Baxter, and he's on the bench, which is concerning because even though the rest of their pack's pretty decent, 4 to 8, I think 1 through 3 is a real drama. And even if you sub them off at 40 minutes, that's 40 minutes of a game where if there's a scrum, it's like 60% chance you're going to give up a scrum penalty, which is points. And we know this current All Black squad is taking more 3-pointers. And it's been noticed in all the games we've played, especially against South Africa. We haven't been kicking to the corner as much, and we'll take the 3. So if we can keep getting scrum penalties in the first 40 minutes, we're going to take those 3 points, and it's going to stretch out a little quicker than I think England would hope.
It's a bit ironic that when you're in your best ever, you had your best ever fly half, you kick for the corner. When you got shit fly halves, you kick at posts. It's quite funny.
Well, D-Mac is pretty reliable off the tee, Jake. Let's not fool ourselves. You're watching one game where they played against the Springboks, and you're judging everything on that. We all know he's very reliable off the tee, right? The big issue for me with the England team is, like, where's Sam Underhill? Where is that guy? I mean, he's literally...
I saw a comment on a post saying that he was injured, and I hadn't heard anything about this. Like, there's been no announcement that he's injured. I don't know whether that was some sort of insider knowledge that somebody knew. So in that case, it makes sense. But, like, if not, I don't know. I don't know whether we're just saving him for South Africa. That is one of the slightly dodgy calls that I mentioned earlier.
He's not been starting regularly for Bath. Like, he's been sort of in and out, but so Tom Curry. So it's a bit of a strange one. But I don't think the problem is Tom Curry or Sam Underhill. You know, the front row is the problem. Aiden has been attacking Finn Baxter off camera, so I don't know why he's praising him now. But anyway,
I think he's good. I just don't think he's world class yet. But he's your best prop. He is by far your best prop, but doesn't mean he's a world-class prop.
Well, see, Finn Baxter, Joe Marler playing the same side. They're the best loose heads, and Dan Cole's our best scrummaging tight head. So surely you have to start one of
Joe Schmaler is your best shit talker, and I literally deactivated his Twitter account. I mean, the guy dishes it out, but then he can't take it at all, and just like leaves. The guy has been getting slaughtered all over. I've seen like the biggest social media like platforms, like let's say Ball Carrier or Rugby Pass, even talking about him deactivating his account. Like, the guys.
What did you guys think about what he said? For those of you who don't know.
I think he's just said it to get a reaction, to put some hype into the game, which I thought was great. But then he deleted his account, and now I think he actually meant it. Because if he didn't mean it, he'd be like, "Oh, come on, you guys get riled up so easily." But he's deleted his account. So
and we all know the good old "I was act" trick. Like these rugby players like it.
Thing is that like even if he was joking, like, and it would be a kind of, it's in his character to kind of do that. He takes the piss a lot. We know that. But even if it was a joke, I think it lacks thought, that Twitter post. It's perpetuating really ignorant beliefs. Like the hacker has big like cultural facts behind it. Like it's quite disrespectful, I think, even though it's a joke. I know that might just be me being too woke, but I don't know. I think it was disrespectful.
Now go on, Joe. Destroy that shit. But anyway, we don't need that rubbish. But I think it's funny that a lot of Kiwis that come out who don't ever watch rugby for the 4 years in between the World Cup and start getting offended over it. They're just there's not really.
No, but it's a big part of their culture. Like it doesn't just relate to rugby.
Jake was like secretly he liked the Joe Marler post. He was there for it.
Silent repost from Jake. It was a loud repost if I could work out Twitter. But no, I don't really agree with what Joe. I don't agree with getting rid of the haka, but I just think it's funny that New Zealand fans care so much when they don't actually care that much about their rugby.
Yeah, I get you.
Don't lie. Jake's literally just fishing. He's decided, listen, I'm going to come on the pod and just talk the biggest bunch of shit that I possibly can. Right? Okay, Aiden, listen. You guys obviously beat England twice, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit, I wouldn't say controversially, but there's a little caveat around it. Like, were you the better team? Probably not. How do you feel going up into the Alien Stadium and doing it there? Because obviously, if you do it there, then you've done it at home, you've done it away from home. Like, it's undisputed that you just are better than them. Even though
I'll be honest, I was a little worried earlier in the week and leading up to it. But I think, honestly, now I'm more confident because the team that played England in those two tests in New Zealand, it was the start of that team. The new coaching setup, some of the new players brought in, completely new way of playing. And although we might not have been the better team, we still got the win. And I think that's a huge thing to focus on is even though we played poorly, at the end of the game, we won. And I think the team, even in a short distance of time that played South Africa, that team was miles better than the team that played England. Sure, we lost that game, both those games, which is not ideal. But that team played with a lot more poise. They were more under control for at least 60 minutes of both those games. And I think if that team that played against South Africa goes to Twickenham, Allianz Stadium, or whatever you want to call it, and plays an 80-minute performance even close to the way we played in South Africa, I think it'll be not as close.
And what about the team?
But don't you think that like it was just one of those scenarios where because it's one of the biggest rivalries in sports, South Africa, New Zealand, they'll always be up for it. Like form just goes out of the window. Like I don't think South Africa were at their best playing that game. I don't think New Zealand were at their best. But you just kind of pitch up and games like that, they just kind of even out. You just even out on each other. Don't you feel like it's something like that? I felt like England were quite a bit better than New Zealand until, for instance, Bowden Barrett came on, individual brilliance. But I've got you spanking them this weekend. Like I think some of the big boys that are back, I think you whack them. I can't see New Zealand losing to France, Ireland, and England.
No, I think they'll beat Ireland.
Sorry?
I think they'll beat Ireland. I think you just kind of brought up like the emotional side of things when you're talking about New Zealand, South Africa. I don't think New Zealand are going to be that up for the England game in the same way that they will. Up for the because
everyone's talking shit about them after their New Zealand trip.
No. I don't think there's the same like emotional implications behind the England game as there is behind the Ireland game. I think that's a bigger game. I think there will be more up for it. Like the Ireland-New Zealand rivalry is slightly more prevalent at the moment. Obviously, they're still going to go out there and like give it their all. But I think England have more to prove in this game. We lost 2 tests like earlier in the summer. I think they'll be slightly more fired up emotionally.
Rose, it's England. They don't care about Ireland. They're a small little country. We're England. They want to beat us. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think again, it sort of almost touches on what Divan said. Is that like it's one of those rivalries. Is sure to me, it's not quite as large as playing South Africa, but everyone wants to beat England because nobody likes England, and so beating England is very, very tasty. And so I don't think
especially at Twickenham.
Yeah, especially at Twickenham, where obviously you guys have more success. I mean, you've only beaten us 8 times in your history, but you have more success at Twickenham than you do anywhere else. And so I think regardless of the Ireland test being sort of the biggest one on our tour, they'll be itching to beat you guys at home.
I mean, you don't have a lot of success against us at Twickenham either.
Well, as I said, you've won 8 times. All of them were
in the last 10 years or so. I feel like we've had quite a good
But there's no more Twickenham now, Aiden. There's no more Twickenham now.
Touching on that, can we just make a mutual agreement to keep calling it Twickenham? I don't care what it's called.
Not Jake. Jake's come out and he said, listen, he wants sponsorships. He wants that alien money.
Rose, I suck on the corporate bosom. I know I accept all the money that comes into rugby. I'm happy to call it Allianz. They are our Lord and Masters. Give us more money, please.
It can be
Bring
Allianz,
more
but
oil.
that's
Bring more oil into rugby. Jake's all for it.
Yeah, I'm ready to convert.
Give me the Saudi Cup. The Saudi and the Qatar Cup. That's Jake. Just call it for it.
It'll be an ambassador.
I've been to both the Qatar Airways Cups, and they're brilliant occasions. I'm an ambassador for Qatar Airways. I love Qatar.
Brilliant. That's sponsorship for this video. So
we've always spoke about it. Like rugby needs money, right? And obviously this has brought in money. Like, I mean, Aiden, would you rename Eden Park after Saudi International Airport if that means you get a ton of investment into your teams? Probably.
It's Auckland, so I don't care. It's Auckland.
Yeah,
Everyone's still going to call it Eden Park, right? We all still,
Yeah.
I know I'm just taking the piss with Alien Stadium, right? But everyone's still going to call it Twickenham. We all know it. We all grew up with it. Look at Emirates Airline Park, Ellis Park in South Africa. You don't even know it's Emirates Airline Park. Everyone just calls it Ellis Park, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to stay the same. Fans will keep calling it what it is.
I didn't know it was Ellis Park.
Piss off.
Well, I didn't. I just thought it was an airline because there's a big plane goes over it. I thought it was Emirates Airline Park.
Sure.
Well, we can't call it Allianz anyways because there's like 30 Allianz stadiums. Where are we
Doesn't
referring
Ireland
to?
have one as well?
Ireland, America, Australia. The Sydney Stadium is now the Allianz Stadium.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's like we just can't call it Allianz.
But we imagine if we made Twickenham the Allianz Stadium, like whenever
It's in Twickenham. It's Twickenham. Let's just park the Allianz thing.
I actually want to ask you guys a question, right? Because myself and Aiden, we are used to seeing our teams play in different stadiums, right? We've got a couple of international stadiums. What's your thoughts on having all of your games at Twickenham every single time, right? Because it's like, how do you cater for the people, for instance, in Manchester? How do you cater for the people outside of London?
Well, it's the home of rugby. It's quite an iconic ground and it has a certain level of like attraction in that sense. You have to remember that like fans of rugby in the UK, more of them are based down south. So you're talking about Manchester, which is where I'm from. Like, obviously it's more difficult to get there, but like the train's easy. And there are...
Keep going. We don't cut this.
Good man, Jake.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to move it along, and then it fell over.
But yeah, like there's more rugby fans in the UK based down south, so it makes sense. Plus, like Britain's not
There's
massive.
more rugby fans in Auckland than there is in Invercargill, yet we still have games down in Dunedin.
Yeah, but it wouldn't like. I don't think it would sell out if there was like a.
No, Rose.
North.
People travel for international games,
No,
and I'm
they
pretty sure
don't.
if you have a game in Manchester, there's enough people in Manchester that still cares about rugby, and the people that are, for instance, in London and want to watch that game, they'd still travel to go to Manchester to go and watch a rugby game. You see people all over South Africa flying to watch games at Soweto, at Emirates Airline Park.
Listen, the majority of the seats in Twickenham, like, are made up of, like, it's this thing called debentures. It's basically you rent out seats, like you buy them like you literally buy seats for like thousands of pounds. It's not like at Twickenham there's just like loads of ticket sales that go on and you can just like buy them all at once. Like that's not how it works. So like I don't know how that would translate if you kind of established another stadium, because these people pay
England
thousands
and
of pounds.
Twickenham has got to be like the most prestige failure to go and watch at the moment. Like to pay that amount of money just to see your team lose at Twickenham every single time.
We
Every
beat
single time
Ireland
it is-
earlier this year at Twickenham. I don't know
And
what you
lost to
mean.
Scotland.
That's one victory.
And we beat Wales. But
I'm amazed to see that with
I-
straight
I-
face.
Where did you lose to Scotland?
Twickenham.
No, Scotland.
No.
Bro, imagine losing to Can
No,
you
not
imagine
Scotland,
losing to Scotland at home?
That,
I mean,
that, was,
like,
that was last year, so it's that
Oh,
one.
sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was gonna say I agree with your point though. Like I say like in this year in 2025 in the Six Nations we've got 3 home games. I would do at least one away somewhere else in the country. I think they should do that every 2 years. And then also autumn we've got 4 games here. I play like South Africa and Australia somewhere else. Like you want to like, get rid of Japan, but also Japan would sell out if it's at Twickenham. So, but I think they should do at least one game not at Twickenham.
I like Old Trafford or something.
Yeah, or Etihad.
you have so many Saffas. They play South Africa in Manchester. You'd sell it out with just Saffas. We are everywhere.
Yeah, that's a big community in the South African Manchesters. Yeah,
You'd be surprised. Like there's over 100,000.
They will travel
people.
from London. Don't test us, Jake.
I'm testing you.
Okay.
Bring it.
Yeah, you guys do need.
Mancunians will be loving it.
You do need some diversity in where you play your games. I mean, if you just had one stadium up north, like you could pick your city. Obviously, Manchester and Liverpool are right next to each other, anyways. So if you had one in that area, you have a stadium for the north, and then you have a stadium for the south. You play at Twickenham, and you
There's so
play.
many stadiums. If you did one in like, there's a new one in Everton, in Liverpool, the new Everton Stadium. People go to that just go to the stadium. So put an England game there, and it will easily sell out. So I think.
Like we, even small New Zealand, sure, we don't sell out every game because rugby's at a bit of a tough spot for us at the moment. But like the game in Dunedin sells out. Wellington, the last one did, so that's okay.
I don't know if it did.
No, the last one, I'm pretty sure the last one did.
I must imagine the yellow seats as well.
It's not a good thing that this is a topic of discussion, right?
No,
the
but
fact
then-
that whether you're selling out your international game or not.
Okay, it was against Argentina. Chill out. Okay,
I want to say that South Africa did not start selling out their stadiums till very recently for Argentina. So don't get cocky.
but yeah, and then
Well, selling out at home. We always sell out at home.
No, you didn't. I got the stats going back 10 years. You didn't.
Okay. So if it's a 60,000 stadium and we only sell 58,000, you're counting that as not selling out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not selling out.
Yeah, that's what. That's what.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I
but-
mean.
with that one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not the same as looking at that Wellington stadium and seeing about 12,000 people in about a 45,000
Hey,
seats.
no,
The thing
Wellington
is, you're
only
in like a
fits
10
32.
million You're in a 10 million city. That's the difference.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're in a 10 million population city in Joburg. It's not selling out for Argentina. It's like,
Yeah, do you know, if you think about it, so for Sky Stadium, Sky Stadium it's called now in Wellington, with extra seating, fits 36,000 people. Central Wellington only has 120,000 people. So, like, it's a third of Central Wellington's population to fill that stadium.
yeah. See, that's why
Yeah,
that's why we should forget about New Zealand. I'd rather tour Spain actually and play a big country. But, oh well, never mind.
Grow the game all over the world.
Exactly. Not
You just want to sit on a beach and get drunk. I mean, I don't blame you, but
Okay. Listen, let's actually go and talk about the game, right? I don't know. I'll come to you. Wow. That was touching. Where do you guys get the advantage in this game, right? Because if we look at I don't even need to see your team lineup. We already know Ethan de Groot and Darryl Lomax. They'll start. You'll find Tamati Williams on the bench with whoever, right? Tuanga Fasi.
probably.
You will smash them at scrum time. Like, I just can't see where England matches up anywhere physically. And now they've gotten rid of Felix Jones. Like, the guy is a COVID coach at the moment, like sitting at home, remote job. Like, try and be objective. Where do you see England getting the upper hand on you guys?
I think in most games that we've played against them, especially in the last, I would probably say 5 years. The thing that England do really well against us is I think they disrupt our lineouts quite well. I think Itoje is an absolute freak in the lineouts. Like, he's so frustrating. I hate watching him because he steals and disrupts so many balls. He sacks mauls better than any other lock in the world. And he can just be a nuisance. I don't like him because he's really good, but I think that's an area where we need to be more careful. Look, I think our locks are more diverse. I think he's a specialist, but what he does really, really well. Whereas someone like George Martin does sort of fill that more versatile role. You know, he can run the ball. He's good in the lineouts too, but he's not quite as a specialist as like Maro Itoje.
I was going to say, like, locks are our strong point, and you are so lucky that Ollie Chesham is injured because he is crazy at the line now, and he would be playing 6. So there'd be 3 line-out options we should have, but he's sadly injured. But
that guy played in the Six Nations and didn't have a single good game. I had him in my fantasy team, and he was trash.
Yeah, but fantasy score doesn't reflect.
He stunk up my fantasy team.
Well, I think, while I agree that the English locks are good, I don't think it's an area of weakness for us. So I think it's going to be a really good match, and I think that'll determine quite a lot of, you know, territory play, because if you steal lineouts, especially on the defensive lineouts, if you can steal it and kick it away, you can gain that territory advantage again and sort of start again. So I think it's going to be a really interesting battle because, as I've said in one of my previous videos, I think Tupou Vaa'i is the form lock right now. He is an absolute menace. He is involved in more turnovers than any other lock in the world. That is simple as that. Like, you can't ask for
more turnovers than any other lock in the Rugby Championship.
No, actually, he did more than in the Six Nations too. So
yeah, because he's playing easy games. You know what? I think our back row is also a strength. You know, we got such depth with like Tom Willis, Jack Willis, and Sam Underhill. But of course, they're not in the squad, so that's brilliant. Never mind. Tom Curry, Chandler Cunningham himself, great ball carrier. Benno, when he's on form, one of the best in the world. So that's also going to be an area where it's going to be like a real battle against New Zealand.
Jake, what do you think about the Dombrand call on the bench?
I mean, I would keep Dombrand because obviously you can have him play at 8 and then Benno can go to 7. So then I wouldn't have put Ben Curry on. I would have put on another back. So
you would have gone 5-3.
Yeah, I would have gone 5-3, and I would have put Ted Hill, who's got called up to the squad finally, instead of BeTWAY, so because he can play 6 or back or second row. But
yeah, I was quite surprised by BeTWAY. I feel like he hasn't really been in the conversation for a little while for England.
He's had
I know injury disrupted it, but
he's had a good start for Saracens. But Alex Coles is usually like next in line, but he's just come back from injury. But he is called up into the squad now. But I would have thought he would have gone straight back into like the sub position. But I don't know.
I was never convinced about Alex Coles for England. I know he had a couple of games, and I know that's not enough to kind of like reflect like a whole player. But I feel like he's one of those players that so far internationally, like his standard hasn't been up to what it is in the Prem. Like, the couple of games he did get for England, he didn't impress me at all, and he made some really silly errors. That probably is just a nerves thing if it's, like, one of your first international games. But, like, he fumbled it a little bit, in my opinion.
Like, he's a solid player, but he's probably still ahead of BeTWAY, and obviously Charlie Ewels is injured, but he gets getting red cards when he's on, so pretty good he's gone. So with Chesham out, Alex Coles just is the next in line for now. Yeah. But I'd like to see Ted Hill get a chance.
Yeah, so would I. Everyone was calling for him up.
I think it's interesting that you guys have gone for a 6-2 because I think it speaks to how you're going to attack the game. I think the first 20 in the first half and the first 20 in the second half are going to be your key areas because you obviously know, at least you guys know that, you know, front row is a little bit of a worry for you guys. So I think you must be replacing them early because there's no chance you leave on those opening 2 for 60 minutes.
Aiden, but we saw it when they played you guys in New Zealand, right? They were the better team until when Bowden came onto the field. You just saw tired bodies, English tired bodies. The forwards were run out dry. They were out on their feet. I mean, Maro Itoje had the game of his life and then stunk out the place, right? And then New Zealand just capitalized on that. And I think with their forwards and you know that New Zealand has got a bit of ill discipline at the moment. We saw it against South Africa as well. If they can match you guys physically and get some ill discipline going as well, that's where they get the advantage. That's my opinion on it. Where you guys, you kind of think of them as too easy at near the end of the game. They bring on the 6-2 split. They match you guys physically, get the upper hand by your ill discipline or them forcing down penalties on you guys. Yeah, and Robertson hasn't been great with his subs either. So it doesn't even matter what your guys' subs are, right? Because he goes and he plays props for 70 minutes. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Either imagine Finn Baxter coming on from the bench, going up against Ethan de Groot, who's been on, and Tyrell Lomax, who's been on the field for 65 minutes, 70 minutes. It crushed him.
That's something I hope we iron out. Whether that's just like, I don't even know what to put it down to or why he was on. I can't make excuses for it. I have no idea what he was thinking when he was doing it. I just hope that's not the case because we have a decent bench. It just needs to be used properly.
Yep. Boys, by the way, we are going to create a fantasy league. So everyone watching this video as well, all of us are going to come into a pool and you guys can join up. A fantasy league for the organization.
Yeah, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, we are.
I not got the memo.
I've just made it up on the spot, Rose.
Can I just say one thing I feel like we haven't touched on yet? I think our backline is really exciting. Obviously, we're going up against New Zealand, who are known for their phenomenal backs, whatever. But I think, apart from maybe Henry Slade, who I think is slightly touch and go at the moment, and we didn't really have another option there. Like, look at our back three, for instance. We've got Waboso, Freeman, and Furbank. Those are three very exciting, very on-form players right now.
Jake loves Furbank.
Jake loves Furbank too much.
I'm surprised you haven't shaved your beard just to have the mustache like him yet, Jake.
No, but I've screenshotted the picture of him to get on my lives. So that's
He doesn't have the hairline.
He is like one of the most intelligent backs in the world. He's
after Damien Willems.
No, his ability to read the game is in attack is crazy. And if he stayed fit and has a good game, he could tear New Zealand apart. Like, he generally could. But yeah, we do have attacking backs, but it's just, again, I'm worried about the cover and substitution, especially if one.
Well, the thing is, like, if Ford comes on, Smith can cover a couple of positions. Slade can cover a couple of positions. Well, Smith can go to 15 if needs be, if necessary.
Smith can hardly cover 10. How's he going to cover 15?
Boy, I can't deal with the Smith hate. Against a team like New Zealand, surely you can see that Smith is the right choice. No, like, the way we want our attack to be. And then Ford can come off. It's very similar to what the Springboks do with Lebok and Pollard.
If they put Marcus Smith at fullback, you will get bombed with eyeballs, and Caleb Clark will have a field day.
Okay, one sec. No, but the thing is, I'm just saying, for security, we have a player there. Like, we have a little bit of versatility in the back line. But I think England are doing something very similar to what the Springboks do, in the sense that we start a more attacking, creative 10, but then we have the reliability on the bench, and we know it works. Like, Paul can come on.
You don't want to hear it, but the ideal England replacement should have been Elliot Daly, because he is actually someone who can cover most positions in the back line.
I almost wish he had started over Slade at 13.
Rose, you know what's very interesting? You mentioned that you're kind of taking this Springboks approach, and you are so right. You announced your team on a Tuesday. I'm pretty sure Steve Borthwick has got some Rossi posters up in his room. Announced the team on a Tuesday, gone for the 6-2 split as well. As you just said, he's thinking with Marcus Smith that can play 10 and 15. I mean, this is so out of the... He even got Rossi's coach that won him the World Cup, Felix Jones. I mean, if this is not a Rossi admirer, I don't know what is.
Get a grip. You are reaching so hard.
No, he might be onto something here.
No, absolutely
It
not.
is. Exactly. Anyway.
Bowden Barrett. I've heard that Bowden Barrett does have genuinely, George Furbank posters on his wall. So that's where he channeled the inspiration for that last game. But this game, George Fairbank will get the upper hand of whoever the All Blacks put at fullback. We are better, and we will win.
Let's actually go to it, right? Because we haven't really spoke about the All Blacks much, and we'll probably wrap up on this, right? What would your ideal 15 be? Is it pretty straightforward, like Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Tyrell Lomax? There's no debate in that. What's your lock pairing?
Tupou
Are you going Tupou and Scott Barrett?
100%. Reliability of Scott Barrett with the excitedness of Tupou. No, Tupou on the bench. Exactly for the same reason that you can bring on some experience.
I've actually got it the other way around. I think Tupou is better than Tupou, right? But I think if you want to go with roles, the way that they play, I think Tupou's impact would be so much more damaging than Patrick Tupou. Now imagine taking up Vi, that physical freak, and bring on Patrick Tupou. And it's like,
but I think the issue we've had in New Zealand is not the like control in the last 20. We just lose control and go do random shit, and then we lose the game, right? Whereas if you bring someone on like Paddy T in the last 20 minutes, you know he's just going to calm everything down a little bit. You know, he's going to be the one in the set piece plays because he's a leader in the team going, "Wait, boys, just stick to what we actually know and not try and do some dumb shit." And then hopefully, if we are in a situation where we've got to, hunker down for the last 20, he's the guy to do that. Whereas Tupou is the guy to come out the gates firing.
Priority is probably to score at least 3 points in the final 20 minutes, right? Finally get to a point where you score some points again.
And we scored in the final 20 against Japan, like twice, actually.
We're not counting those. And
Australia in the 61st minute.
They also don't count.
Why not?
61st minute. So they just clocked it by 1 minute. And then...
Yeah, they did. They did it. Exactly. It was like 60-45.
I'm looking forward to George Martin showing what Tupou a physical freak really is. But what do you think about George Ford?
George Martin's class.
What do you think about the sub? George Ford being sub, he could that could be a game decider, his sort of game control and kicking ability. So that'd be interesting.
Couple of little drop goals near the end of the game.
I'm also excited for Fairbank versus what I hope to be Will Jordan, because you talk a big game about Fairbank, but Will Jordan hasn't had much time at 15, but he's
not gonna play 15.
I think he will. I think Bodie will come off the bench again.
We'll get there in a second. Okay. So your Lucy's Wallace Atiti.
Yeah, Blackadder's injured again. Surprise, surprise.
Okay. Is Sam Kane? Is he taking that 7 jersey?
Yeah.
And then Adi Savea, right?
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. Cam Roigard has to.
They're probably going to start
Ratimer. The battle between Cam Roigard and Alex Mitchell. That would have been juicy.
I think they'll start Ratimer, I'll be honest.
You know what? I think Ben Spencer will do a job when whoever starts at 9 for you, because he is very experienced and like sort of wily, and I think he will make it difficult for whoever's at 9. They're young 9s you have, and they're not proven at all internationally. So I think Ben Spencer will cause a bit of sort of mayhem at the scrum, base of the scrum.
You talk about they're not proven at international level. Then you're talking about Ben Spencer will pull one over them while he's not proven at international level at all.
Ben Spencer is a very proven international world-class elite player, casual. So shut your mouth.
But ignoring that nonsense, I think they're going to start Ratimer at 9 because he's been in the fold for longer. And as you said, when you want someone a bit explosive off the bench, Cam Roigard is as explosive as it gets. Like if he comes
Cam
on,
Roigard is what New Zealander fans think Harry Randall. Like they think he's Harry Randall, but he's not. He's just sort of this sort of slick All Black person. But Harry Randall will show you what an attacking 9 actually looks like.
Oh, no, he's just going to do that for everyone now.
No, he's just chatting shit. Like Cam Roigard is the guy you bring on. If there are tired bodies around the ruck, Cam Roigard will exploit it. He does it better than any 9 in New Zealand, and he's up there with some of the best 9s in the world already at exploiting.
Are you done with TJ Perenara now? You think
I think he moves into a leadership position.
Have done it. Hey?
I think he moves into more of like a mentorship position. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Roigard.
I'm the reason why I'm saying Jordan won't go to fullback, and neither will Beauden Barrett. At 10, I've got Beauden Barrett. I don't have DMAC.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, to be fair. It's another level head. Like, in a game like
I
this.
thought he was great against Australia. I thought he looked amazing. He looked better than DMAC looked, in my opinion. I don't think DMAC's bad, but when you have the versatility of DMAC that can come on, DMAC against high bodies. There you go.
I also think you're right, because they started
DMAC.
DMAC
at 10, we win. I'll say that, we win.
What?
If they play Bone Barrett at 10, we'll win.
Why?
Because he's not good. He's not good at 10. He wasn't good for the Blues.
He won World Player of the Year twice at 10.
Yeah, 10 years ago. No, he doesn't do it at 10 anymore.
Class never fades, mate. Class
No,
never fades.
I'd be scared if Bone Barrett started at 10.
And I think, I reckon you're right. I think they will start him at 10 because
DMAC's the better 10.
if they shouldn't have started DMAC against Japan if they wanted him to start against England, is my guess.
And DMAC got crunched at 10.
Yeah.
Where?
Against Japan. He got smoked.
He was attacked.
They put their hands on him. Okay. Center combination. I can't believe I'm going to say this because I don't want this. I don't want this at all. But they're probably going to go Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. Is Geordie Barrett back?
He should be, yeah.
If he's not, it's probably going to be Anton Len Brown. But then Rieko Ioane. But Billy Proctor. Give me Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor all day long. All day. And then on the wings, Caleb Clark.
And Rieko Ioane.
And Rieko Ioane. And at fullback, Stephen Perofeta with Will Jordan on the bench. There you go. That would be my All Blacks.
Now, it'd be better to start Jordan because Perofeta covers both positions.
Yeah, but I kind of like the way that Vili plays at fullback in terms of you have a creative outlet that can slot into first receiver as well. Jordan cannot do that for shit. Perofeta can do that again. So I think you've got these crazy finishers. If you've got two people that can spread the ball out wide, you sort it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love them to try Rieko back on the wing. I don't see it happening, but I'd love it.
He played there for 10 minutes against the Springboks and cooked.
Yeah, it was the best 10 minutes he played in a while.
Should we do some official predictions then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start with Rose. Rose, what's your official prediction at the Alien Stadium?
At Twickenham Stadium, I don't know, actually objectively, I think England have a very good chance of winning. And I know you think that too, because off camera you've said it a lot. I think England will take it by 3 points. I think it will be close, but I think we will do it.
Fairs. Okay, Aiden, we're going to you before we turn Jake's mic back on because he's tapping around there.
Again, I have a completely objective view that is not biased whatsoever. My biased view would be New Zealand by 50 points, but my unbiased view would probably be New Zealand by 48 points. No, my unbiased view, I think it's going to be decided in the first 20 minutes of both halves. Opposite to the games in New Zealand where they were decided in the last 20 minutes of both halves, I think the first 20 minutes is going to be important. And I think we'll win by 8 points. I think it'll be just outside a score.
Oh, that's lovely. But is it like a consolation score at the end to take it to 8, or do you think it's just 8 and they just can't get it done?
I think it'll be they might get a consolation score. I don't think it'll be hair-raisingly close. I'm not going to be worried in the last 10 minutes that we're going to bottle it like we did in South Africa.
Jake probably feels like that is absolutely outrageous. Jake, what's your prediction?
I mean, it's just the Kiwi arrogance that's born in them. It just doesn't, ever relents. It's just embarrassing for a sport they don't even have that much passion for. But there we go. I would say I'm a man of integrity, Casual. I try and be honest about everything I say, and I think New Zealand will win.
Wow!
I do not like this lineup. I do not like that front row. I do not like the subs.
After this 40 minutes of trash that he spoke about everything New Zealand.
Before the lineup, I still think we have the better squad and players. And before the lineup was announced, I thought we can do this. We should do this. We should have beaten them in New Zealand. I was looking at the front row, and I think it's just going to get absolutely smashed for 50 minutes. I'm just so worried. And I think they're going to win. I don't like saying it.
I'm going to clip that and put it right at the start of the video. So
So-
people remember that, and then they watch the video, and then they just think like, "Didn't this guy just fucking say?"
To be
it?"
fair, watch
Jake,
this.
if we win, you're going to be the most disloyal fucking fan in
I'm
the
not
world.
disloyal. I have integrity as a rugby fan.
Oh,
I think,
no, have loyal integrity. Have confidence in your team.
Yeah, but
When it's this
I can't.
close, I get
Well-
it if it's a more just like obvious prediction, but everyone thinks this game is going to be pretty close.
I can't look past. it
I'm
because
going. I'm going England to win this game by 6 points.
what
I've-
a
I've-
weird
I've-
mix we've got.
Why is it all going
I've-
tits up?
This is outrageous.
I've admitted before, and I'll say it again. I think that New Zealand wins 2 games on tour, like in terms of their big ones that they're playing. I think they beat Ireland, and I think they beat France. That Ireland game, they'll be up and ready for it. That France game, they'll want to put some respect on their own name after what's happened for the tour of next year. But I think just something, New Zealand, England's just that one team that could be a bogey team. And I think they'll have their number this time around. But it's going to be close. And I think it's going to be like a 3-point lead, and then England just like get a penalty at the end, maybe makes it 6 points.
George Ford drop goal.
No. There will be no magic in the victory. It will just be a 6-point victory. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. Go to all of their social medias. Rose on TikTok, Rugby Ramblings. Well, it's Rose on TikTok, sorry, because it's inverted. Rugby Ramblings, 24-hour Rugby Jake, and 24-hour Rugby Eng. Anyway, bye-bye.